Okay.
I call the October 6, 2021 Historic District meeting to order, and I would appreciate a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes from the September 1st meeting?
No.
If not, I'll have a motion to approve, please.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, the first case number is, put it on here. Oh, here we go. 10-6-21-19, Town of Berlin. And I believe that's Ivy. Is that Ivy?
It is Ivy.
Come on down, Ivy. Please. Okay, you explain to the board real quick what you're here for.
Oh, sure. So this is the first of three murals that I am presenting for this evening. This first one is for, it's in black and white here, but I think in your packets it's in color, is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
So it's similar to an old English brick pathway that would basically cover up the no parking signs that are painted on the black asphalt in front of our current mural. What we've noticed is when people take pictures in front of the mural at the Welcome Center, people are standing right on the no parking signs, and then when you take a picture, the no parking on the asphalt shows up, and it's not very pleasant. So we're trying to turn that area into more of a welcoming area where people can actually stand and they can walk and look at the mural instead of feeling like they're standing in the middle of a parking lot.
Okay.
And we've had local artist Jess Hall, who lives right here in Berlin, to make the design for us.
Okay. Will she be the one putting it down for you?
That's correct. And she was planning on being here tonight, but she is unable to be here tonight.
Okay.
I think it's a very clever idea, Ivy.
Thank you.
Very, very engaging.
All right, Nornie?
I'm okay.
Robert?
It's a yellow brick road?
Yes.
So
Yes.
we can have Kansas City at the end of it. That's good, okay.
John, did you have
I
a
don't have any
question?
questions at all, miss.
I think it's lovely. We'll entertain a motion to approve. Okay, but well, just that number.
I'll make a motion to approve case number 10-6-21-19.
Second.
On favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Ms. Ivy. And you're staying right there for the next 10-6-21-20. And I'm real excited about this. Go ahead and explain
Sure.
this one.
So if you're familiar with the alley, I'm going to take this off to speak if that's okay.
Please do.
Yes.
The alley in between where Island Creamery is and where Troy Purnell's building is, where Gilbert's Provisions is, if you've ever looked down that alley, which I do quite often because I walk in town nearly every night, there's two air conditioning units on either roof, and they both drip, the condensation from the air conditioning units drip down and causes this slimy mess that pretty much makes the alley unwalkable. And it's a place, kids go there, they hang out, there's trash there, there's cigarette butts all over the place, and it's very, very unsightly. And since we are a Bee City USA, my assistant Allison and artist Jess Hall, we had an idea, and I said, you know what, let's try to clean up this alley. So I asked Troy if we had permission to actually paint a mural on the sidewalk to make it more of an action-oriented mural. And I got this idea from an art museum that I went to in Solomon's Island several months ago. And they have a forest where you walk through, and on the path of the forest, there's all kinds of things for kids to do, where you swirl like the wind or you flap your arms like a bird. And I wanted to duplicate that here. And Pollinator Way fits so well because what we'd like to do is add rain gardens underneath where the condensation drips down. And then this way, it also is a learning exhibition for kids to learn why rain gardens are important. And I also have Georgie McElroy here, if she'd like to come up. And
Yes, please come up, please come up. We're happy to have you with us.
Thank you. Ivy and I got in touch because I am part of, I spurred the development of the Berlin Ecumenical Green Team, which functions under the auspices of Interfaith Partners for the Chesapeake Bay. We're the first one for the Coastal Bay. And so we have a number of projects we're very interested in doing. We actually have a educational project coming up on the 16th. We're going to do the Berlin Big Tree Tour. And this segues very nicely with the fact that we have an author at Greyhound the same weekend who has written, Joan Maloof, a book about trees, and she'll be signing books. So anyway, we're off to a good start. And I called Ivy and asked her for a spot, and she said yes, and then she mentioned this. And I think it's very doable. I did some research, and it so happens that there are a number of organizations in Lewis, Delaware, that are doing the same thing. And at first, we were very concerned because we thought, does this mean we have to bust concrete? Do we have to get to permeated soil? And we don't. As long as the rain gardens themselves, which would actually be skinny troughs in that alley, were constructed in such a way, giving water runoff enough time to permeate through the soil, sand, and then exit through runoff pipe, which just going through the soil, the sand, and the gravel, you will lose something like somewhere between, I believe, please don't quote me, between 50 and 75% of the water that comes off the roof. The plants will take it in. So I actually have...
And there's some on the display.
There's,
Yeah, there,
now
there.
that is,
That's a rain
that I
garden.
sent you,
Mhm.
because this is I don't want to jump ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, well, we actually have several ideas. I walk through Berlin all the time, and I counted downspouts. Some downspouts we cannot change. But, for example, right at Dolly's Candy and the little store next to it, there's a downspout that is constantly running. Oh, that's my river. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, there you are. But there's a downspout that runs all the time onto the sidewalk. Will you go back up to the more architectural one? And we kind of, Donna Main and I walked it and thought, well, we're not going to put big blue rain barrels on the sidewalk in Berlin, but something like this, in places where downspouts are readily available for altering, that might work beautifully. And to
Well,
say,
that, I don't mean to interrupt you, but we have got a ton of stuff tonight. That, and we have talked, I think that is a great idea.
I'll wait.
And to get it all together for another meeting, but for
Right.
tonight, can you show us what troughs that
If
you
you
want
have-
to put in the little alley so we can?
I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
that's
getting way
okay.
ahead.
If we didn't
And
have-
I realized when I sat down,
Right here.
I've got to start filling out forms. And I will, I'll be back with forms.
No, that's fine. If we didn't have such a big
I got you.
agenda tonight,
All right.
it wouldn't matter.
So, looking at the alley,
Uh-huh,
and this would also, it would kill many birds with one stone because it would be a bee pollinator garden. There are specific shade plants that are pollinators. It would be easy to maintain if they were troughs, narrow troughs, but they would have to be tall. If they were tall enough, people wouldn't necessarily flick cigarette butts in them. And I think we would probably be able to stagger them.
Right, we're going to put the rain gardens are gonna be located exactly where the problem areas are. So I believe there's going to be two, one on each side.
But
And-
staggered.
And then down the middle will be that pollinator way that Jess Hall designed. So you would
Okay.
start at the sidewalk at the top of Main Street at the beginning where Island Creamery, where the entrance is. And then it would literally say start, and then you would follow the path and do exactly what the path says. So you could spin around, you can learn about the bees and pollinator gardens, and then you would reach the end.
And the troughs, if they were high enough, would eliminate debris. It would be very hard for anything to germinate in the troughs other than the plants that are already there.
okay, well, we need to approve the design. Now, the design that you're showing us for the path is exactly what you're gonna wanna put there, is that correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay. And this trough that we're seeing here on the screen
Mhm.
is exactly what you're gonna put there.
That's
Two
correct.
of them, right.
Correct.
It's not gonna change.
It's not gonna change.
All right, John, we'll start with you. Do you have any questions?
No,
about
actually,
this?
anything that can make that area look better than it does is a great improvement, I think.
Yeah, okay.
I know it's gonna make it look better, but my one question is, it's gonna have to be maintained regularly. Because this is a learning program, are you gonna, like, involve maybe the students at the high school or anything like that, or?
That's a thought. Actually, I'm a master gardener. I just got my qualification. You learn a lot. But perennials are so easy to maintain. They're ridiculously easy to maintain. My thought was, my team would be willing to make sure during the driest spells that the troughs were watered. And yes, I think you could get other people to volunteer in maintaining those.
Well, for example, the garden down at our town Veterans Memorial, which in my mind is sacred ground,
Yeah,
it looks, well, you know, it's bad looking. It's just, so if you can't maintain it, we don't want to do it. I'm serious.
It'll be maintained. I will make sure that it is maintained.
Because that's hurting a lot of people's hearts, the way that's looking now, and it didn't need to be that way. So I'm just very sensitive
Understand.
about any of this because it's a wonderful idea. I really, really like it. But if it's just gonna be
a mess.
another mess like we
Yeah.
have all over town, then no, I'm not for it. But if you promise that it will be taken care of, Norty, you're
Yeah, I think that's my only concern is possibly the maintenance of it, not just the flowers and that stuff, but even the murals on the ground.
if they need to be repainted in 2 years,
I'm
yeah.
thinking power wash. Who owns this, so the
Troy
sidewalk
Burnett.
and everything is owned by Troy?
That sidewalk is owned by Troy, and I have his approval to do this.
Okay, yeah, I just, that's my only concern is the power wash, and if that need be, if someone graffitied it or something.
Right, and it's interesting you say that, Norty, because they actually make and it's on the mural on the Welcome Center also, it's a coating that if somebody does vandalize it, it wipes right off.
Oh, that's pretty cool, I did not know that.
Yeah, they have it, you can put it on signs, like some of the signs around town, it would probably do it some good
Yeah,
if
well,
it had
that was
that
a big
coating.
concern of mine.
Yeah.
A couple things.
Yeah, because just the fact that you beautify it is gonna, I think, have people that maybe do go through respect it, but there's always an element that you care less. All right, Mary, your
You
opinion?
know, it's interesting enough because I can't remember the last time I walked on that sidewalk like you gals have. The first thing that comes to mind, I was just curious, how much sunlight's out there?
Not enough, that's
Well,
why.
that's where I'm thinking mold, mildew, slick, you know, what's the problematic.
That's what's happening now.
Originally, yeah, so I'm curious, because I mean, I think the design and all is very clever, again, very nice, but have we researched to see what kind of commercial product can go down on that is going to keep any of that from happening? I mean, there's so many commercial things for wood floors, I know there's got to be commercial things for concrete and things that would prevent, you know, sort of being proactive.
It's the same, it's the same,
I'm sorry, this trough might catch a lot of that moisture that's coming
But
down.
we
That's the
still have
purpose,
rain
yeah.
and, you know, with the lack of sun, even, nothing's going to bloom unless it gets 6 hours of sun, so we know we're not looking for colorful, flowerful
We
things.
will get colorful flowers. There are.
Well, I mean, that's your all's call to do that. I was just thinking, to put that thought in, I'd be concerned about the slickness, the mold. When you don't have a lot of sunlight, you're going to get that, and I just wanted to bring that up.
right, and that's what we're trying, that's the problem we're actually trying to solve.
Okay, well, you got a problem, so, but I think it's a wonderful idea.
You walk through there, like a lot, like where they're talking about, where they're putting these troughs, that's the majority of where the.
I think there might be a picture of what it looks like now.
Kind of starting to.
Well, I
produce.
get that, but I'm also saying you have the elements, you
Yeah.
have the different weather elements as we go through around here on the eastern
That's the
part. But
lights.
you all, that's belated.
Yeah.
Matt, one quick question, is this last page, is there going to be lighting up there?
Yes, I was, because we are
That's
short
very
on time, I
clever.
can come back and,
Okay.
and ask for the lighting for
Okay.
approval. Let's get this done
Yeah,
first.
okay.
We'll do it in steps, but that's,
Yeah.
in the future, we'd like to do something like that.
Oh, okay, that's a
Yeah.
future thought, all right.
All right.
Checking.
Look, if there's no objections, I would appreciate having a motion on 10-6-2120 that the sidewalk mural be done exactly as presented, that the troughs be exactly as presented, and in there, I would also say that we have a guarantee that things will be maintenance, the maintenance will be taken care of by your group. Okay, so whoever wants to make that motion. Glasses.
All right.
All right, go ahead.
To approve case 10-6-21-20 according to the specs that were exactly presented and the fact that you will hopefully keep this maintained.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Very good.
Thank you, George.
No problem.
I have another mural.
Okay.
Georgina, thank you for coming in.
Yeah,
Oh, my
thank you,
pleasure.
thank you.
My pleasure.
Take care.
We'll
George.
see you again, it sounds
Oh,
like.
you will. You will. Ivy's going to help me.
You're more than welcome to stay for the meeting, the rest of the meeting if you'd like to. So you don't have to go home, thank you. Okay, and the last piece that we need before case 10-6-21-21.
It's the night of the multiple murals. So the last mural that we are presenting tonight has had somewhat of a long journey to get here, and now we're finally here. We have secured a location for Dr. Reverend Charles Albert Tinley mural to be placed in our downtown district. We've had several meetings with, I believe Carol was at some of the meetings.
One of them, yeah,
One of the
yeah, the
meetings,
first one.
with
the artist.
prominent members of the local community. We've met several times, so I believe Carolyn was at a meeting, Dave was at a meeting, and we talked about how important this mural was and where it should be located, and the consensus was to have it located in our downtown where the majority of people would be able to see it. And we asked Mr. Parker if he would like to have this mural on the side of his building. He was very much in favor of it and came down and wrote a letter saying that he was in favor of having the mural of Dr. Tinley on his wall. And we are working with artist Jay Coleman. He is based out of Prince George's County in the Washington, D.C. area. He's done several murals in Washington, D.C. and local Prince George's County and Montgomery County, Maryland. And He hasn't done the exact design yet because obviously we have to pay him to do a design, so we wanted to get approval. But if you look in your packet, you'll see similar designs that he's done. He's an award-winning artist, and he came out to meet with us, and he is waiting to make the actual design, but it will be similar to his other designs. And
This is his style, is what you're telling me?
That's his
This is
style,
personal
correct.
style.
And the first illustration that you see, not the one above that, where it's Dr. Tinley, there are two versions. One is slightly larger, actually it's double the size of the previous photo, so I was asked to present both sizes for the mural with the hopes that you would choose the larger size.
Well, you know, we can't approve the actual, what's going up there till we see what it's gonna be. So, my thought is that you are here this evening just to receive permission for a mural that we will approve when it's finished, the rendering
Sure.
is done. So that's all we're here for tonight. Is that everybody's expectation? Just to say.
Well, the last I saw, I guess because in the newspaper, it was going to be down the street, so I was surprised.
Well, it was originally to go on the side of Bruder Hill,
Right.
and the way the brick and everything is, it was what, $30,000 just to make the surface,
Right, this is
the
Bruder Hill.
surface to smooth enough for him to paint, because if you, I didn't realize it, but it's, how would you describe that brick?
It's textured in a way where
Yeah,
it's not conducive for him to paint on.
Yeah, you
And we would have to put panels similar to what we did for the mural on the Welcome Center, and the cost it's
You're going to
more
have to
than-
have somebody who wants to donate the money, I would think, because these are really expensive. I mean, I know a lot about urban art, and this is not a $5,000 or a
No, this is-
$6,000 of
No,
work of
Right,
art.
the mural itself to be painted on the brick is costly enough, but we did receive, through Beach to Bay Heritage Area, we received some grant funding to be able to pay for the mural.
For him to come up with a concept, I assume.
Correct, yes.
And what would that be, out of curiosity?
It would be similar to.
I mean, cost-wise, what does he want to come up with a concept for you all? What does he say, when I do not do anything under X dollars?
No, he's currently working on it, and it'll be included in the package once he's complete.
So he
But he's
didn't
just-
give you all, when someone goes for something like that, normally they say, this is my range, this is my price range, this is what I do, these are my sizes, you didn't get it?
Correct, so it all depends on the size and the amount of work.
Does the brick here have to be altered too, or covered?
No, he can paint directly on the brick.
Is this something that once the mural's there, is it something that does have to be continually touched up, or does it just age?
It
Like,
usually ages,
you just leave it alone and let it age with the building
it's a
and
project or
over
something.
time?
And then we could always hire him to come back to do touch-ups.
But, I guess that was my question, should you even touch it up, or should you just put it there, leave it alone, and let it gracefully age like the building?
I think that would probably be up to you.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, Dave, would you like to read Laura had some comments and sent them to Dave, so we'll start with that and then we'll work our way.
Dear Historic Commission members, this was received yesterday or last night from our other Historic District Commission member, Laura Stearns. I am unable to attend tonight's Historic Commission meeting because I will be out of town. After looking over the packet, I could not contain myself from offering my opinion on a few of the items in the packet that could affect the character of this town. I feel that the Burbage Building rendition is not in keeping with the Victorian appearance of the town. The brick buttresses on the corners give it the look of a more modern building and does not reflect the historic architecture that is predominant in Berlin. The awnings should be the same as the awnings on the buildings on Main Street, which are metal and are suspended by metal rods. If there were to be shutters, they should be genuine, with shutter dogs as seen on the Taylor House Museum. William Street is a main corridor, and this prominent building is amongst the first buildings that can be seen when you are entering the historic district. I made an impassioned plea to the architect of the last rendition submitted for this building, and he understood and made changes. You can look at a photo from 100 years ago and be standing at the same spot in town, and it looks exactly the same today. This is what makes our town so unique. This is why people come here. Now I feel that we are back to square one. This building should look like the other brick buildings in town. Why should you do anything less? Then the next paragraph is, it is for the same reasons that I opposed the mural of Reverend Dr. Charles Albert Tindley. This man wrote the anthem of the American Civil Rights Movement, and he should be recognized in the town where he was born. Because our town is Victorian, he should be commemorated in a way that is historically appropriate. This mural does not belong in the historic district, painted on brick that has not been touched with paint in hundreds of years. Another way that we could recognize Reverend Dr. Tindley would be a statue, which would be a fitting tribute and historically appropriate. For example, Gettysburg has a very large statue of Abraham Lincoln in the center of town, and it is in keeping with the architecture of historic Gettysburg. Lastly, I would like to say that I love the addition of the porch roof at the Sterling Tavern. It will be a great addition to the building and to this town. Respectfully, Laura Stearns.
Okay, Mary, let's see if we get through
I like
this
what Laura
quick
said.
enough.
I think I always, when I first came on Historic District, and welcome for helping us out tonight, Berlin is so unique. The one thing that drives me crazy riding down the street is the people who like to stand in the middle of the street and take pictures of each other and the buildings because they've never been in a village town before. They've been to shopping malls and strip malls. And it is so unique that I really feel so strongly about keeping the Victorian character as Williamsburg does for Williamsburg, as Sturbridge Village in Massachusetts does for Massachusetts. And my first thought when I looked at the packet and the artist's works was Disney World came to my mind. That was the first thought, that it was something I think of, it was very commercial looking. I'm not talking about the photographic reproductions of Mr. Tindley or Reverend Tindley. I'm talking about the artist's personal style. It didn't lend itself, I just didn't look at it and say, wow, this is great, this is a real thing for Berlin. I mean, I realized by saying the things I'm saying, people would say, oh, Mary, blah, blah. Not true. It's going to go a long way before we get my approval. And I don't want it to look Berlin to start getting commercial, and then somebody else with a cause says, oh, we want to put this on our building, we own this building, and who are you to do this and not that? I'm not sure about the precedent. Amen. Marty?
My concern is, and really something that Laura touched on, is the older bricks, in fact, being painted on. I'm not a big fan of that. If it was a painted building, repainting it, I don't see any issues with that. But when I look out this window right here, this is where we're talking, I'm looking at bricks that have been there, and I watched a good friend of mine come through and repoint the bricks, which, I mean, that was, and he was there for probably months doing that stuff, and now to be covered up, I don't know, I'm just not a big fan of covering up bricks, and I know that the owner has, Mr. Parker has sent us a letter. I just think he should think more about on lines of that old brick, because once it's there, it can't be taken off. I don't care how hard it is, especially older bricks are harder to remove something because they absorb a little bit more. So I think I need to see a little bit more research on this before I can really want to cast a vote.
Okay, well, I don't want to make this any longer than it has to, but basically what I would recommend is basically what I read from Laura Stearns and what Mary, I agree with basically what they both said. I would just be saying it in different words right now. I don't think I'm ready to see a mural there, especially being from New York and seeing a lot of murals all
Yeah.
around Harlem,
Washington,
South Bronx
DC,
for many,
yeah.
many years. And some of it's nice, but some of it takes away from the architectural value of some of these old buildings in New York.
Very commercial,
Yeah.
look along, it's very,
John?
Yeah, then, the other thing, you know, you hate to think about this part of it, but you think about vandalism to it, and how do you, can you fix the vandalism? And it doesn't do, Reverend Tinley any justice having that happen. And when I read Laura's letter, the statue was a fantastic idea. Put somewhere in the center of town, and pay
or
tribute to
chart,
them.
could you come in?
But yeah, I worry about the upkeep of it. But, you know, does it, like I asked before, does it gracefully age, or does it fade away, and then what does it do to the building, you know, in terms of the brick and the historic nature of the brick, so.
All right, what I'd like to propose to do so that we can continue is do a continuance on this matter. Maybe look for either another, I don't know, place in.
Oh, that's okay, that's why we're here,
No,
you know, to
exactly, well,
discuss,
exactly,
to discuss all this, you know, I mean, I hear what you're saying, and
Nobody
yeah.
here wants to tell you, wants to vote, no, we don't want to.
Oh,
And we're not gonna do that. So let's just say for tonight that we feel like we need more information, which is what everyone has said. And we'll leave that to you and the committee and so forth. And if it takes till.
Carol, are you speaking for yourself, or are you speaking for all four of us here that have expressed our opinions?
so what, and also.
I'm speaking for the board to do a continuance if we.
I agree with the continuance, but I'm not going to say that, maybe I misunderstood what you said, is
No.
that we are just fine with this, but we need to see the final.
No,
plan. I don't feel that way.
that is not what I said to
Okay.
her. That's
Good.
because I got this mess
I
on
think
me.
these things are
I'm sorry.
ridiculous, to be sitting up here.
No, I said that we would
I suggest a new direction.
do a continuance on
I agree to
this
hear what everyone
matter
said,
to
okay.
see if they could find like another place in town or the
So-
statue or,
Right,
you know.
okay, I go.
If we vote absolutely no, this can't be done, then they can't do anything, they have to wait a year to come back. I don't want to do that, you know, because a lot of people are working hard on this.
Well, they need to do their business end of it. They need to find out pretty quickly what kind of presentation to do, a quality work of art, what the numbers would be and how it was, you know, that's huge. Right there as a business person, I find that there's creativity and then there's your bottom line of what can be done well. So that's just all I have
All
to
right,
say.
so this is my suggestion. Could, to make it legal, would somebody make a motion that for this case, 10/6/21/21, that we agree to, as a board, to just do a continuance and have the matter brought back
Good.
with a lot more information for us.
What they want.
So, quick question though, I don't want to waste anyone's time either, so I just want to make sure that a mural on this building is out of the question, so we can concentrate on another location.
That's what I said.
Okay.
Yeah, either think about,
Or maybe a
Or the
statue, or,
idea, yes.
what we're looking for, honestly, when you think about why we started this, is we're looking for a way to honor Dr. Tinley, whether it's a mural, whether it's a statue, we're looking to show respect for Dr. Tinley in the town of Berlin.
Or the
And-
town's pride.
And, exactly, and the idea of the mural came up, I sit on the Beach to Bay Heritage Area Board, and there were several members working on this before I got involved. And the thought of a mural, you know, there's been talk about adding more murals in downtown Berlin, and you know, obviously it evolved into this. But listening to you all, we want something that everyone's going to love, and that someone doesn't feel uncomfortable with the nature of the buildings, or that's going to harm the buildings or harm the
Well, in
look of the
keeping,
town.
in keeping with the
Exactly, we're not
Victorian,
looking
yeah.
to do that. We're looking for a positive way to honor Dr. Tindley. And obviously, it's not this particular project, so we'll think of something else, and that's fine, and I
Well,
have no
you
problem
have
with
enough, you
that.
have enough creative people on all
Exactly.
the boards, so.
Exactly.
All right, may I have the motion, please?
I'll make the motion to have a continuance for case number 10-6/21/21 to consider alternative ideas to honor Dr. Charles Albert Tindley.
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Ivy,
Sure
for
thing.
all the time on all three of these.
Oh,
We're
sure
most
thing.
grateful for all the time you spent.
No worries.
Well, I
Thank
can
you.
say how
Together.
great what you've done to, I mean, the project the children did, that's perfect for the mural there. I don't find that offensive at all, for sure.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, thank you. Okay, moving right along here, case number 10-6-21-22. Who do we have here?
Yeah, Jimmy and Jeff.
Jimmy and Jeff, oh my, oh Lord.
I apologize to you all. I look like I've been in a battle. I have. Doing some personal work at home.
Okay.
Doing what you all regulate, as I call it.
Do all the time?
Yeah, you all the time. We're here tonight to respectfully ask of the HDC to replace the windows in Town Hall. We have 37 windows, 38 windows actually. There's a small window which you would never see. It's in between, it's on the north side of the building. In the old police station, it was a bathroom window. But the other windows, you're looking at them, they're all the same size. We have, of those 37 windows that we're looking at replacing, well over a third are rotten, and they are rotten. I can tell you in the 11 years that I've been here, they've been painted 3 times. We've had, one year we had a contractor come in and actually epoxy and putty as best we could to fix the rotten. So that said and done, if you go over to the southeast side of the building upstairs, you can literally take your finger and push it through the bottom of the sash. It's that rotten. So Jimmy, if you want to show him the window, it's an Anderson window. It would not have the grills, the grates. Okay, it would not. This is the best that they could give us for right now to demo.
Is this what the mayor and council looked at the?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Exact
Okay.
same window.
That's what I thought.
It would, the exterior color, it was toyed around for a while, maybe going to black, but ultimately, we're going to stay with the forest green, I believe that's what it is.
Yes, it is.
And there will be no change in the color. The contractor that's been awarded the work, he's made it very clear to me that the way you see the outside now, as far as the angles, because some of this stuff has to be fabricated, because it's, some of these windows, the way they're designed downstairs, is kind of unique, but he said in the end result, the angles will not change, the color will not change. And again, if you get into more discussion regarding the interior of this, but that's outside your all's preview.
And they've got a warranty of how many years, that they don't have to have anything done to them, a long time.
Quite a bit of a warranty on these
Yeah.
windows, and they are Anderson double pane, insulated. I lost my train of thought that quick. They do tilt in, which makes it easier. You all know that from homes to clean.
Yeah, it does.
But the fact is, we need these windows replaced.
Well, I'm gonna start, I don't usually, but I was at the council meeting when they were approved by the council to spend the funds. And in my mind, they're exactly what we, as a historic district, would approve. So, Robert, go ahead, yeah.
As long as the frame of the window is going to conform with the brick arch, right? Okay, it's going to be all custom design.
That's right.
Okay.
Yes, they approved it.
We don't have any arched windows.
No, but you have that What's the word I'm looking for some of the windows
The
downstairs?
brick on the,
It's fabric, there's no glass that's arched, but you above some of the windows have that,
It's like a fan, it's like a fan,
like a half moon. is like that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
it follows that soldier towards the brick.
Right.
And these are,
Yeah, there's, yes.
The exterior as you
said
see
everything
it,
would look the
That's gonna be a
same.
1/1, no panes, just one pane over one.
We don't
pane.
have any muntins, we have no panes in town hall as it is.
Right.
So,
correct.
That's good, okay.
and if you, I don't know if you remember, this type of Anderson window is the same as there is on the front of the Taylor Bank when they redid it.
Right.
It's the same series of window. It's a wood window, and the exterior has just got that, it's pre-painted, pre-finished with that green PermaShield, they call it PermaShield finish. So the fact that we had green in the building, we talked about it before we got quotes. And we went right back with the green.
So these are wood frame thermal pane windows?
I'm sorry?
They're wood frame windows,
Yes.
thermal pane?
So they're a low argon glass double pane.
Even better what was approved
Usually
before.
everybody wants vinyl or something because it's more maintenance free.
Well, these windows that are in the building now, I know they've been in for as long as I've been here anyway. About 6, 7 years ago, we did receive a grant, and they were, the film was put on the inside, which that is pretty neat, but these windows do not have that, so, and again, that's all done on the interior.
How's the maintenance with that, with painting? You have to paint it often, or
With these?
these?
No.
Nornie, are you
I
okay
don't
with these
think
windows?
it's everything we've
Mary?
ever asked.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, I think it needs to be done.
Window, would you have to, I didn't know paint wooden windows, you have to paint them.
Ask Dave, ask before we vote, if you've got questions now.
No, if it's a wooden window, this is wood, I mean, you have to maintain it somehow. I mean, you say you don't have to paint it?
Not often, no.
All right, but you do
Oh,
eventually?
yeah, at some
Okay.
point.
All right, if everybody likes this, John, everybody, please, can we have a motion, please, to approve the town of Berlin purchasing the windows as presented, except they don't have the.
I'll make a motion to approve 10-6-21-22 as presented.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
All right.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you. And the work on this, with the COVID, I hate to use that excuse, but windows, when they'll be here, I'm actually hoping before the end of calendar year 21 here.
Yeah, right.
Keep hoping,
We ordered the windows, back in July, August timeframe.
Okay.
Wait a minute, I'll get it, I put it around. Okay, case number 10-6-21-23 for 119 North Main. Mr. Girardi, our favorite person, come on down, we haven't seen you in forever. How are you?
Tired.
You're tired of my land, you must be related to me. You might tell the folks what you're here about, yeah, Sterling.
Good evening and thank you. Let me give you a little background on this. I came before this committee several years ago with the idea idea of putting an awning across the front of 119 North Main Street. During the dialogue between the committee and myself, I suggested maybe bringing the roof that's already there on the side, bringing it around across the front. And the committee was unanimous in that was the preferred route, okay? At that time, The tenant that I had come in was Finn's Oyster House. They had no interest in putting that up, okay, or having it put up. Okay. And so I then therefore withdrew that. Now, what's happened since then, Finn's has been wanting to get out of the lease after their first year, their second year, their third year. They've not been made, have not made any money. And so I could see that they were starting to not take care of the building. And so they came to me with the idea of subletting to another operator. If you don't have an operator that is interested in maintaining the building, you're in for trouble, so you gotta do something, and I agreed to let them sublease to the new tenant, which is Sterling Tavern. Now, what's happened in addition to a new tenant, we've also hit a period of time that we've had this so-called COVID, and people's views have changed quite a bit in terms of restaurant industry. Outside seating is a real premium. And so the new owners, Matt and his wife Brooke and I chatted, and they would like to bring that roof around. And I told them I would do that, and so therefore, that's why I'm here. This is Ernie Gerardi's hands drawn.
Of course.
We recognize that.
But anyway, well, you know, trying to get it done with someone else takes forever to get it done. And so I did it one night.
Oh, it's charming, Ernie.
But anyway, well, it's fitting with our town. It's all historic, okay?
Yes.
But the idea is using a metal roof coming around to the front and on 6x6 posts, just like what's there now.
Right.
And then the post was set just inside. There is an antique iron fence there now, and it's set just inside of that fence, okay? And it'll cover the entire front of the restaurant. I think it'll make it attractive with, you know, in terms of what we like to have in our town. And with that, I'll answer. He also plans to later, well, I don't know what you call it, plastic, so that he can have extended use outside, same as the blacksmith has done in terms of the colder weather, in order to use the outside. But that's up to him. He'll have to come to this committee for that.
Well, he's doing a bang-up job there, and the food is really good, and the people are very, very nice.
Well, the good thing about it is the owner is an operator on site.
Yeah, that was the issue before, yes,
And
he's
the
there.
problem we have with both Finn's and the Febos is they had sales, but they couldn't control payroll costs. In this town, payroll costs in the restaurant business is horrendous. And so, and also, neither one made money, and they both left, okay? And
Well,
so-
they had their Delaware businesses were getting a lot of their attention, I think, for hoping that
No,
that thing for.
that's not quite true, Mary. It's people don't quite understand. The labor market in Berlin and Ocean City in the restaurant business is quite different than it is in Bethany and Rehoboth, okay? There's a much greater stability up there at the same or lower cost than there is down here. Here it's very transit, much more transit, and the work ethic in Ocean City, Berlin, in the restaurant industry is not like it is.
The loyalty they have up there.
Well, it's just different. It's quite different, and the
That's
people, whether
interesting.
they work or don't work, really don't give a damn, quite frankly. And so it's not. Jeff had tremendous sales. It wasn't a sales problem. It wasn't a rental problem because they had a hell of a rent deal on the thing. They could not control labor costs, and neither one of them could. And Seguli had the same problem. And you know, it was the first restaurant we had in the town. They could not control their labor costs, and that was a chef, was part owner, because I gave him half of it when we started. And so that's the problem. But anyway, that's a side issue.
Well, this is something that we've already pretty much approved before. Does anybody have any questions?
Anything I may answer?
Okay, I know it'll be done exactly like we approved it, that's not a problem, so we'll go ahead and, have a motion, please, on this case, and then we'll get close to the end.
Yeah, I think it's definitely gonna be an asset.
I do too, I was excited to see this.
I'll make a motion to approve 10-6-21-23 as presented.
I'll second the motion.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome. Mr. Jordan, do you need help walking down the steps with your cane, or you?
Yeah, I can answer.
Okay, because Greg's back here, I know he would make sure.
I also want to let you know that 2 Stevenson has been completed and is fully rented.
Oh, wow, that's terrific, yay, yay, wonderful, wonderful.
Should go over the plans.
Does the elevator work?
It doesn't work,
Oh dear.
hasn't for a long time, but something is
Mr. Girardi, when you say it's fully rented, the apartments and the commercial downstairs?
Yes,
That's great.
I just rented it last Friday, downstairs.
What are we gonna
The
have?
apartments, I rented them twice, which we didn't get it done on time, so we lost all the tenants and had to re-rent it. But it's been,
That was probably easier than getting the commercial.
oh yes.
What do you have coming in downstairs, may I ask? What will be downstairs?
Can you tell us who's written in?
Mary, I
Oh, I asked, I'm not the loaded question.
have to be honest, I'm not sure I even understand it. The name of it is Love Your Mama,
Love your mama, okay.
and they sell products that are green products and protect the planet, and where you can buy renewal things for the house and stuff like that. And I frankly don't think it'll work, but
It's
that's
free.
some,
Okay, well, hopefully.
they believe it.
Well,
Their
hopefully.
house is paid for, and they're personally guaranteeing it, so I said, I'll give you the chance, so.
Well, maybe-
But, you know, I hope they do, but
Yeah, well, hopefully they get a following.
Yeah.
For the landlord's sake, I hope they do well.
Yeah.
well, yep.
Thank you, Mr. Girardi, it's always good to have
Thank
you
you.
with us.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Does West Virginia have your heart now?
No,
Yeah, it does.
the pearl of
I haven't seen you for a
I
while.
haven't been down for a while.
The call of the mountains.
Thanks, Ernie.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, here, let's see, let me get the right glasses on so I can read what I'm doing here. Case number 10-6-21-24 for property located at 16 Pitt Street, and that's Jack Burbage's property. Samantha, are you here for him? Hi there, how are you?
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. You wanna tell the board?
The building at 16 Pitt Street is parcel 1464, and we are looking to do an exterior reface of the building to freshen it up and give it a more cohesive look to the rest of the town of Berlin. And so we have suggested that we had this building has been brought to you before by a person who was going to be buying the building. And we took some feedback from what you gave those people and tried to alter the design to be more fitting to what it seemed like that this commission would want. And so we hope that you have checked it out and reviewed it and see if you have any questions for me about it and that I might answer for you.
Well, I'm gonna start. Number one, I don't understand why you want to do the front of the old Goobers. Why you want to do the front and around on Williams a tiny little bit and stop. when from there down to where you did do something over is such a disgrace. That stucco's coming off there, the wood, and everything. That building has sat there for decades with nothing done unless it absolutely had to be. There was window panes that fell out on the sidewalk some years ago, and they had to put new windows in. And you had someone put the bolts in to stabilize it so it doesn't fall down. I don't like any of this. This is not acceptable to me. This property, I have the deeds, when it was built, was brick. And what you're trying to do here is just, pretty it up a little bit, and it's just not acceptable. There were no shutters on buildings downtown when they were built at that period of time. And if you are taking supposedly what we liked from Keith's work, he gave you the wrong thing, because there's not any of this that we've all talked about. So my opinion, I'm sorry, is I do not like any of this. I would not be in favor of any of this unless the whole thing is done and it's done right. It's been a disgrace for a long time, and it's time for the whole thing to be cleaned up. Every bit of it. It's a disgrace. And William Street is one of the main streets in this town. And to go by there and look at that mess, it's ridiculous. That's my comments. John?
I don't like the project either, just because it doesn't look anything like the building. It looks like a completely different, more modern building, rather than an old Victorian building. And, the awning's
Do you
gone.
have some renderings to what you guys are discussing that the building used to look to? Because the historic data that I found, the building is a stucco covered building. And so I'm just trying to figure out.
Well, since it was built in the end of the 1800s, it was built brick. I don't know
But
that
stucco has
there's
been on
any.
that building for a very long time, because in the historic data that I provided in the packet, it showed that it was a stucco building.
No, it doesn't. I have the paperwork from the Maryland Historic Trust when it was put on there, and it says it was a brick building where stucco had been put over it. I don't know if John Howard had the stucco put on it. I'm old, but I'm not old enough to remember when all that stucco was done.
Well, I appreciate.
There was no historic district when the stucco was put on there, let's put it that way.
The part that we did, that we thought you appreciated, was the red brick. We were trying to add the red brick accents because we understand that the Historic District Commission prefers a red brick look. And so we were trying, that's why the additions were made. We were copying the Williams Street architectural detail along Pitt Street and getting to even that out instead of the stair-step effect that the current roof line is, because that's a more architectural detail than the stair-step on the front. The shutters, we thought perhaps were, because there's shutters on the other older buildings in town, that shutters would be an architectural detail that we could add that would.
But they don't look like, that looks like shutters somebody puts on their house that they build today. It's not appropriate for the age of that building. And that, all that stucco is over brick. And I can guarantee you that we don't want stucco over there again.
Well, stucco has been on this building for the foreseeable past based on the data that we were able to gather as far back. And I'm not trying to be argumentative, Ms. Rose, please don't hear that. This was, we put money and went time and effort into trying to find something that you would like. Perhaps the historic district would like to send us some renderings of what you would be interested in us trying to do?
Well, normally for a big project like this, we like to sit down before a meeting and go over things. I wasn't called or asked at the time before when you did that over there. If you remember, I met you like 8 o'clock in the morning with Dave to go over what you wanted to do, so you kind of know. Let's finish with everybody. Norm?
I mean, there's some things that could be a little bit different. Yeah, yes, Sam, I do want to see this building, something done at this building, clean this up. There's no doubt about it. Anything's better than what we're looking at. There's no doubt about that. Just some changes. I do like the brick showing. I'm a big brick fan, as you heard me say earlier. I am a big brick fan.
And that's why the bricks were added, was because we understand that that's something that this body likes. And so,
It's really interesting, we've discussed this, I'm hearing you where I don't believe we've met, but the bricks, when they had the big fire in Berlin, and somebody give me the date, the date when they had the big fire and it went swept through the town, the 1800s, when they came in and rebuilt with bricks, the brick kiln was out on Old Ocean City Boulevard, sort of a little bit east of the Barrett Building. It was back in there. And Ed Hammond, who I sat on planning with and with Historic District, explained that the soil in this area is not conducive to building bricks. This isn't a brick home, everybody you notice in town, there are very few brick houses. They're mostly clapboard, you know. And because the bricks were so porous and began to disintegrate, that's when the form salesman came through town, and what Braintree Reef used to look like, this gray formstone look, which was so unsightly. Early metal siding. Then they came in, but the brick was so porous, and I'm imagining that's why the stucco came in, because the bricks, because of this, were so sandy, and the mortar in there, there's coming out. The concept was exactly what you said, that, and where we're going to find a happy medium. Certainly, I wouldn't expect them to come in and
But Mary, Braintree pulled all that mess off.
Yes, they did.
And they did off next door at Cabot.
And they did all the pointing of the bricks, and it's a different side, this building, I don't know if that's what we're saying, is that we want the brick building back, is that what we're hearing? I mean, since the compromise is here, could it be clapboard? Like some old fashioned, you go into towns and you'll be in New England, you'll see brick, and then you'll see a clapboard building, do you know what I mean? Which, well, New Yorker over there, I think you know what I'm talking about. You see in the older towns, you'll see different, if you're in Connecticut particularly, you'll see a lot of clapboard, and you'll see brick, and then clapboard and brick. So I wonder if we can come up, as you said, a meeting, come up with some ideas, and not have you all go to expense and all that, because all of us, I think, have the same, want to see it look good and get it
we're on
done
the same
properly.
page. We want to
Yes.
repair the building,
Yeah.
but there's a certain level that it's not cost effective. To pull the stucco off, as you said, the older brick underneath there, this brick
It's
was made with
crumbling.
sand.
Right, that's why the
This brick
stucco was
wasn't
there.
made with
Keep
clay.
them like pulled out. I don't
Well,
know.
here's the
Yeah.
thing,
And if I can speak.
let me talk. Here's the thing, as I said, it sat there for decades and decades, and nothing's been done to maintain it, and I'm telling the truth about it, and I'm sorry that it may be a little expensive to make it right. But if something had been done to maintain it, so that it's not almost falling down and you have to put those things up there and take the awning off the front, and I'm just saying,
Let me ask you a question, Carol, just because I never thought about this. Would it be offensive to you if it was clapboard?
yes,
It would be.
why would we want to change? The downtown has been brick since the last fire in 1904.
And when
The
I
whole
moved here in
downtown.
65, this was as run down in 1965 as it is today. There hasn't been any improvement to the exterior. I'm trying to find a common ground and thinking of other things that I've seen in my travels, always being interested in old towns, Old Lyme, Connecticut, wherever I am, looking
Well,
at things.
if other
There's also
business-
mixed sometimes too. As I said, that's what I'm thinking. Yes, that would be ideal, and if the owners feel like that they would like to go to that great expense, but I'm imagining inside is just as bad. I've never been inside as out, so I can't imagine.
If
Is it
others-
just going to sit like this, or is there any compromise that we can sort of make it a corner when you come in has some charm to it, which is what I said about Victorian Village. I feel so strongly that we don't do things that become precedents. you know,
If other people in this town, other business owners, buy a building and they care enough, PNC Bank, custom-made door there, which everybody was, it took so long, custom-made door, the granite that was there, really care, spend the money and make it right. I'm sorry,
well, that's why we're here, we all have our own opinions.
Yeah,
Try
that's
to come up
exactly, I
with
say this
a
is
group
my
to everyone,
opinion.
and I'd be curious what the other people.
John has not spoken, and then Robert.
I mean, I'm all for improving the building, because it is a site, and it's always been a site, but, I mean, even like on the second floor, I think the windows would look fine without the shutters. I mean, looking at the building to the left, or the continuation of that building, those windows look fine without the shutters.
They would look better
And,
with the right paint, the right, they need, they.
yeah, the windows need to be replaced or whatever, but, I mean, I just don't think they need the shutters. I think it would look fine and more in place, without the shutters. I think there's some sort of compromise we can all come to eventually to make this building look better.
All right, Robert, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I'd like, if you don't mind, I'd like to have a few minutes to discuss something.
Go ahead.
I'm going to take this off because I have a lot to read. I don't want to create I don't like to see this back and forth and fighting and all. I don't want to see any of this start. I just want to bring to everybody's attention what we're all about and what this town is all about. All right? The purpose of our commission, I'm going to read you five purposes of our commission. The first one is to safeguard the heritage of the town by preserving the district or districts therein which reflect elements of its cultural, social, economic, political, or architectural history. The second purpose is to stabilize and improve the property values in such a district or districts. The third purpose is to foster the civic beauty. The fourth purpose is to strengthen the local economy. And the fifth purpose of our commission is to promote the use and preservation of historic districts for the education, welfare, pleasure of the residents of the town and county. That's the purpose of the commission. Now, the considerations that we have to take in, all right, we have a couple of those. In reviewing the plans for any such construction or change to any structure, site, or other appurtenances in relation to the surrounding area, the Historic District Commission shall give consideration to, there's four of them. The first consideration is the historic or architectural value and significance of the structure, site, and all the other appurtenances and their relationship to the historic value of the surrounding area. The second is the relationship of the exterior architectural features of the structure, site, and to the remainder of the structure and other appurtenances to the surrounding area. The third consideration is the general compatibility of the exterior design, arrangement, texture, and materials proposed to be used for any structure or appurtenance. And the fourth consideration is any other factors, including aesthetic factors, which the Commission deems to be pertinent. Now, you have put into your application a description from the Maryland Historic Trust, which I have put together many years ago for our commission, and I'm surprised that you have it. But I wanted to make sure if you really or you or the owners read it. This building was occupied by Mary's Restaurant, is a two-story brick shed roof building with a corbelled cornice. The original windows with segmented arches remain on the second floor. The windows and doors of the Pitt Street facade commercial floor have been altered to unify the building with the addition to the Style Guide store next door. Stucco has been applied over the principal facades of the building, including the cornice. Also, the main entrance to the building was changed from William Street side to the Pitt Street side. The building is presently in a fair shape of repair. By that fair shape, but this was as of 1979 August. All right. And another small comment about it, it's another mention from the same form that you got from the Historic Trust. It's a two-story brick building. This is Mary's Restaurant. It's a two-story brick building with segmented arches over the windows, shed, corbelled cornice, stucco applied over the principal facade. It basically reiterates what it's on another page. The significance of the building. This is on another page of the Maryland Historic Trust. This building significantly contributes to the essential character of the commercial district. It exhibits similarity in materials, design, scale, and degree of ornamentation with the major 19th century buildings that established the theme of the district. Now, my main concern is, I like the fact that we're using modern materials and we're replacing bad windows, and we're going to put, like, even if we use, you know, vinyl windows and doors or stainless steel, that's fine, okay? But my concern with changing the shape of the building, all right? If you look at the original design of the building, what it looks like now and what you want to do, it's changing it. Now, all well and good, somebody came with us with an application a couple of years ago, and we kind of like compromised. I was really against it, but I knew these people weren't going to do it anyway. All right, they just couldn't afford to do it. All right, so we just let it go. But I was hoping that and I had presented to them a design of keeping the shape of this building and restoring it, keeping the shape of the building. Okay, even the awning outside. A 19th century awning does not wrap around the building. It's usually just in front of the building. And it's usually made out of metal and it's tied up with rods. I mean, you're wrapping around. This is not an awning anymore. This is more like an apron, and it's a roof. It's not really awning. So I really don't care for that either. The brick corners now, we're saying, oh yeah, we got stucco, we got brick. Brick might be sand underneath. If brick was sand underneath now, the stucco would have fallen off many years ago. All right? The brick has to be sound. All right? They were coming with an application to raise these corners even higher. And they said, we have to do that because we don't know the structure underneath, it might be weak. Well, how can you build on top of a weak structure? It just didn't make sense. That's why I knew these people didn't know what they were talking about. All right? I would like to see this upgraded. I would like to see it with modern materials, but to keep the same look like it was 1900.
When it was built.
That's it. Now, whether you want to keep it stucco or brick, that's for everybody here to decide. It was originally brick. Stucco was placed back in the 1960s or 70s, whenever it was. So that to me doesn't matter which way it goes. I'm here 20 years. I've never seen the brick on it. I've always seen the stucco on it. So to me, it doesn't really matter how you finish the facade. But those corners raised, only in brick, it breaks away from the whole thing. It's either going to be all stucco or all brick. Like what they did with their, was it next door to the Rains Reef, the Fathom, where they took out all the stucco and they finished it. That was a job. It took them months to do it.
Yeah,
Came out beautiful.
the stucco preserved those bricks.
Yeah,
It
I
took a while to get
firmly
it off
believe-
to be careful.
Yeah.
But just because it's got stucco over it doesn't mean those bricks are going to fall out. Everybody's.
So I'm basically putting this together. I mean, I was thinking about this all week. I mean, I like the fact that somebody's coming to restore the building. But we have to keep the charm of the town. We have to keep it what it looked like in the year 1900 or 1850 or whatever. you know.
Victorian.
It would be nice. That's what people come down here to see. You know, I don't care if we put vinyl windows in there. I don't care because we've done it with other structures already. I don't care, you know, in a commercial area down below, we have to put, because of building code, we have to use like stainless steel doors or metal frames or whatever, that's fine. But as far as the shape, the look of the building, it'd be nice to try to keep it looking historic with modern materials.
And go all the way down William Street so that it's uniform.
To Parker's building. To J.
Yeah, I mean, why would you do the front and come around for a little piece and then leave that gap in there looking so horrible?
And I'm not trying to hurt anybody by saying this, I'm just trying to want people to understand this is what the commission's all about. We're trying to preserve our historic district.
I mean, there's a door there that's got all these chains on it that looks like you could get right in. I mean, I don't even know.
The building is
The
one
ones
entity.
boarded up, what
I
is
agree.
it?
What you're saying is the building is one entity. We can't just chop it up and say, even though I assume the restaurant is only going to be an X part of the square feet of the building, you're saying aesthetically, from the outside, the building can't just stop and
Well,
then
why?
have a disrepair before you get to Harper's brick building. It's got to be continued as one property. I assume as a tax, that it is one building, and it should be.
It's not, it's two properties.
It is two properties.
It
And
is
do
two
the two
parcels.
properties end, Dave? Where do they end?
I'm sorry?
Yeah, down by JE.
Yeah, so by looking at it, I thought
If
that.
you could refer to what I provided in the historic information, the corner of Pitts and Williams is parcel 1464. It is a separate parcel, it
Right.
is separately owned, it is separately taxed, it is a separate parcel. To speak to what you're asking, Ms. Rose, we intend to do the rest. At this time, I'm trying to eat the turkey in one bite at a time. I have a business and a use for 16 Pitt Street, which is this parcel, and I want to get it going and finished. And then I'm moving down the block in both directions as well as out front. It's a large project. To try to wait until every single part of it is designed and approved is really frustrating because I'd like to get moving. I have a business that is rented the downstairs. They're ready to move forward with getting open. I want to assist them. As you know, this is a huge endeavor. This is a very large building, the majority of Main Street in that between Williams and Bay. And so, Pitts and Bay. And so that's another part that we're going to do, and that we will be keeping the brick because there we can maintain the brick because the brick has been, it just needs point up, and as you were discussing with the other people coming in about what Mr. Parker did to his building, that's doable on Main Street. As far as the piece that you keep referring to as unsightly at Williams Street,
Right
between Beach Gypsy and where will be the new restaurant, until I have determined the use inside, I don't want to refront that because we may make it a commercial endeavor. We may make it the apartments entrance. We may make it an entrance that goes deep into the building. We haven't finished that yet. This is a huge Thanksgiving dinner for me to eat. I'm trying to get approval for this piece so that we can move forward, so that we can put the roof on and get the business open and have this where the farmer's market is meeting finished and ready. Then we move to the next one. Then we move to the next one. Just like Mr. Girardi has become your favorite person because he comes in again and again and again. I hope to keep seeing you every few months with the next step, but I can't do it all at once. And I need approval to get this moving cost effectively so that I can keep moving.
Well,
And I understand your frustration. You have spoken that to me.
many
about-
times, and I've spoken it to Jack. I've been in
May I?
there with him, looking at all that. I understand you want to get these folks in there, and they're nowhere near ready to get in there because I looked through the window yesterday. So, I don't know, it's got to be done. I know you're in a hurry, blah,
I'm
blah,
not in a
blah,
hurry, but I wanted to-
it's got to be done right. I mean, when you did that across the street, the outside lights that you put up, those white plastic things, that's not what we approved to go up there. You were gonna put those black rod-on that we looked at and approved, but that's not what's up there. I gotta make sure that whatever we approve is exactly what gets done.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go right ahead. Go right,
You were aware about that this building is in a historic district before you made these plans, right?
Yes, sir.
well, these
So
are
wouldn't it
Keith's
been,
plans.
when they designed these plans or sketches, whatever, wouldn't it have been wise to be more practical and efficient, maybe get things approved quicker if these plans were designed befitting of the building way it should look, like the way it did look?
We looked at what we...
Because these are changes, these are drastic changes, and because of that, you've put us now on a spot, saying, well, because now time might be of an essence for you, are we just going to go ahead and approve this now? We don't, because we know it's not befitting of what it should look like in a historic district.
And they may be separate buildings, parcels, but they're all owned by the same person, they all were conveyed in one deed. So I don't want anybody that's listening or anything to think there's different owners for different parcels, because that's not accurate. There's one owner for this whole thing, the whole parcel's the whole thing. Well, I'm trying to think, I wouldn't mind doing an extra meeting this, later in the month if she could get Keith to, like, have awnings instead of this apron. Like, take our suggestions and have it that it looks like it's supposed to.
Wouldn't changing the roof design cost more than what you have there now?
We thought that you appreciated the architectural detail that was on the William Street side, because that was indicative to the time period of the property. So we were trying to incorporate that. It will cost us money because right now the roof line is stair-stepped. And it will cost us money to make it an even, but we thought that made the building look more cohesive, and that was a detail that we could incorporate on the other side. We actually did that thinking you would like it.
But taking the stair step away takes away from the historic part of the building. I mean, that's part of the building, that stair step roof design is the same, and it takes away from the building. It
So
changes.
you would like no detail on that roof and just stucco on the whole building like it is?
Well,
No, they on stucco.
I'm sorry.
No shutters.
No shutters.
No shutters, no stucco. I can't deal with
let me
it.
ask you this, Carol. Keeping the shape of the building with the step design of the roof and putting those corbels up, maybe I could see that, because that decorates nice, but it keeps the original shape of the building. the
Gives a little
antique
architectural
look.
detail.
Yeah, these
So
architectural.
one side of the building, a straight line, the other, the three steps.
Yeah, the way it is now. And if you want to decorate it with corbels, I think that's fine. I can see something like that.
Well, I think a lot of Victoria is quirky, so.
Well, because a lot of other buildings, they have that. You go down Main Street, they don't have the corbels. I mean, even when that fellow with the salon there, he added that on top and fixed that all up nice.
Well, the history,
And
you
the
always
brick-
know in a city, if you want to see the history of the city, you should look at the roof line. Because people come in and bastardize and put their shops in and do all kinds of architectural stuff, but if you really look at the roof line, that's where you see how old the building is normally in the history. It's up there, will show the true, now you're saying here, whatever reason that stair step was, I have to say I've never seen it before, but I guess it's been there a while. But maybe the corbels would help give it some architectural detail, maybe a little
See, a
something.
building like that, I could blindfold you. Let's say I'm in New York and we're traveling down to Berlin together, you and I I'm blindfolded you. And then all of a sudden, we come in down William Street and I unblindfold you. You see that design of the building, you say, oh yeah, we're in Berlin. Because that building is like a stigma for this town. You know you're in Berlin just by looking at the shape of the building. You don't see that anywhere else.
Well,
You see what I'm saying?
speechless on that.
That's part of the historic nature of the town.
You know, it's quirky. I said the whole thing is quirky. That
Yeah,
it's
if
two
it
parts.
can be done
And the charm
over.
and the reason I felt so strongly originally about Victorian, either we're gonna have something that is unique and different and quirky, or we're just gonna be a shopping center kind of look, or a little new suburban area where you just do all the latest things, and I think this little pocket here.
Honestly, I think if you
I could probably save some money.
revisit this in your designs and think about what we would like to see, I think it'll probably cost you less to
Well-
restore this.
If you could give me all of the feedback on each part of the design so that I can go once more to the architect and start again, because as you know, to get to this point, there was an expense, and we would like to refinish the building. We would like,
No, it looks like that it's the same, pretty much the same as what he'd already done for Chris and Frank when they came. It was just a redo of that.
no, well, it was based on that because that had been approved.
Right.
And so it was based on that, but we removed what had been affectionately referred to as the tower.
I wish you called because I would have gone over there with you gladly, or Robert's retired now, Mary, we're available
But I
always.
I didn't know I should meet with one person on the committee. I thought I.
No, you can't meet with all of us. You can't meet with all of us at one time, but you can meet with several like we did before, when David and I met you for what you were doing the earlier.
Well, Carol, it'd probably be if all of us knew ahead of time when something is, make an effort to hear what's being said and listen and come
Well, yeah,
out and
we
have the
just
meeting. Because
can't.
this is a lot of the things tonight were a big surprise to me.
Well,
You know?
we cannot meet as a group anywhere because it violates the Meetings Act. So if we all wanted to meet with
Just for,
her, we would have.
Q&A kind of thing is
Yeah,
considered where
it
no
would have to
decisions
be.
made, just information's passed.
And
back
tonight,
and
we
forth.
can't, that's not allowed?
What's that?
Well, I would,
We can sit here and you can write down the different, it's not that much, is it, Robert?
You
No,
don't like to?
basically, it's like this. Keeping the shape of the building, don't change the roof, the outline of the building, all right? If you want to add cornices up on top, fine. I guess we have a choice. You want to keep the stucco there and replace it because it's been replaced, 40 years ago, it's fine. But if they could remove the stucco and restore the brick, that's even better. As far as the windows are concerned, yes, I'm sure you have to replace the windows. You can use modern windows. You don't have to replace the windows.
All the windows would be staying?
They're going to be what?
Staying?
Staying.
Interestingly
Oh,
enough,
they're
they
saying
look like what we just
They're good,
approved
so they're
earlier
good.
for the
The-
town.
Were the
The shape
windows
is
in
identical.
good condition?
They're all.
Oh, so then it's fine. All right, so, and then,
The only change
the other
would be
thing is
the
the
doors.
awning.
The doors would be changing. The tenants have received a grant
Yeah.
from one of Ivy's grants to change the doors. I included the door in the plans. Are those, the doors approved?
Just take the shutters off, please, take the shutters off.
That's easy. I'm
you
happy
don't
to
need
do that.
shutters.
Yeah, that door, I had looked at that looks fine, it's a wooden
That door's
door.
fine.
Mhm.
Okay, and we
And the
are
other thing-
changing the door, if I could continue, and I'll just try to get you through this quickly, because I know you all want to go home, your time is very valuable. On the Pitt Street side, we will be removing the center door, we'll be bricking that over. It will only have 2 doors on the Pitt Street side, is that
I
acceptable?
think that's fine.
Okay, and then on the Pitt Street side, we are repainting the white brick that is there. Doing away with the red brick columns, you don't seem to want those. So if we did away with all 3 columns, each corner and the middle, repainting the white brick,
And the awning
That's
doesn't
not
wrap
really,
around.
that's been put on over the original brick.
Yeah, not stucco, she's talking about just brick.
Yeah, she's talking about the front on Pitt Street, in front of the restaurant. Did you look at
It's
that?
all white brick.
Yeah.
Well, what were you gonna paint it, red?
On Pitt Street.
Are you gonna take the paint off are you gonna paint it white again?
Just on the Pitt Street side? Well, it's been white, I mean. I don't
Yeah,
know.
but if she takes the stucco off the second part, that's all the old red brick. Now how's that gonna?
I
It
don't-
may not look nice.
well,
It's
I
a-
understood from Mr. Robert that the stucco would be an acceptable option for the second floor?
Well, I don't know if it would or wouldn't, because it
Well, that's-
depends. See, I've been here 20 years. All I know is the stucco. I've never seen the
Well,
brick
and it's,
underneath it.
I
All right,
believe
but
it's
looking at the reports from the historic trust, it was originally brick. So now, it's up to, not just me, but it's up to everybody here, what they would like to see. Okay, that's not just my decision to make.
Well, on the
But-
bottom portion, maybe we'll discuss that at the end. On the bottom portion, is it acceptable to paint the white brick after we've covered in that door as shown on the rendering?
It depends on you're gonna have the awning? You're
I
gonna
I thought
That
that was,
roof, you're gonna be just a metal awning?
Well,
Are you gonna have the awning? I would probably not want to see an awning on William Street.
well, the reason I was doing that, and perhaps I'm incorrect, is Ivy and I have had many conversations about there needing to be some more commercial opportunities. We were trying to make Main Street look more, William Street look more like Main Street by providing the awning.
No, I understand that.
Am I inaccurate?
But
on that?
historically, the awnings are usually in front of a building. You don't really see awnings inside of the building. That's just an historical thing.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
as far as I'm concerned, if
So
they
no
agree
side
on
awning.
awning on side, it's
I
fine.
don't understand the awning there.
And the other thing, I'd be careful with awnings, it's a narrow street, and I've also seen big trucks run into it.
Yeah,
And
no,
it could
it-
damage
it-
it too,
it
that's
would
other
damage,
things.
yeah.
Like what happened in a corner, what was it, a while back, big truck.
Okay, so we're taking off the awning on the side, only redoing the awning on the front with new black metal. Is that acceptable, the new black metal where the red metal used to be?
And would you say not go into the,
Just the front.
well, you have to. you
Yeah,
have to let
don't go,
them know.
don't extend the awning to the corner. The awning ends at the end of the building, straight out.
As it had in the past in
Yes,
the old
just-
rendering,
yes.
but just black, replace it with black. So take off the red that was on there. You have the drawings of the old.
Right, this drawing, Robert.
Yeah, you don't mind that, Mark?
Yeah, that being black, what she's
I don't think
talking
that
about right
matters.
there.
Yeah.
No.
Is that a no or a
I
yes?
just like to see a nice,
Black is fine.
historic looking awning. I don't care really the color too much. And the shape of the building to me, and there's no shutters.
Well, whatever you
Try to keep as
choose,
much of that as possible.
whatever you choose for that awning color, make sure it's what you want if you're gonna continue down.
Well, if the awning's gonna be black,
Yes.
I don't know if white brick is gonna look good underneath it.
Look at the J&M building.
Hmm?
I think it's very similar to what's on the J&M building, which we thought you had approved, so we thought we'd get approved.
You mean the meat market?
The black roof and the white.
That building has no historic significance.
That, you know, the white, what it is the white brick looks like 1950s is what it isn't classic white brick, you know, traditional. It's an add-on, it looks like
Well,
a
I
to me.
don't think it wasn't built in the 1900s, like, so.
I mean, color. I mean, do we ever make a big stink about color?
We haven't saying color, I'm just saying if they're gonna continue the awnings, when she works her way from the corner to corner, make sure they choose what they want, because we're not gonna want them to have different.
You know, maybe white underneath might look good because it brightens up, with the awning on top, might brighten up the sidewalk, fine.
And then the trim around the windows, did you find that acceptable?
The color of the trims?
The white?
The detail on the bottom windows? we
I
had-
think the photograph really made it look bad, and I think it's the photograph more than anything.
Well, the white brick is like just a 50s shiny, it isn't classic Victorian
I mean,
brick.
that's
Is
just
what it
right
is,
in
it's
your
very
face.
contemporary.
Okay,
Is
I
there
It's
now?
there.
Yeah, but yes, it is, but I'm saying the photograph where this is also dark and this is right in your face, I don't
If they
think.
get rid of this, they're gonna get rid of this, all right? They're gonna, if they keep this, the brick here all red, this is why I think it'll be fine, because it's gonna be more uniform, that this is all broken up with the shutters, the corners and everything like that. It's a more nice uniform look, and I think it'll be much better, because there's too much stuff here.
Absolutely.
We gotta get rid of all that stuff. And to keep it simple, it's gonna be easier to maintain everything. I mean, and you keep the historic look of the whole building. You know, so, yeah, the white brick, I really don't care, because look, they got white at the visitor center, they got white next door.
I think that'll stand out with the black roof. I mean,
Well, like you said,
I say that.
what building up here had that white and the black?
I thought the J&M building?
Yeah, you know, I guess that's fine. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the color's not gonna matter too much.
Yeah, and I'm saying that we can paint that brick and
And
then.
as far as the storefront doors and windows, that's up to sometimes the building department, because there's some codes with that as far as fire regulations and everything else, so, you know, that's,
It's just the same.
Okay, and then on the William Street side, you're saying no awning. And then we had called for, on the William Street side, just sort of squaring off that window to match the square windows on the front side of Pitt Street.
Can we say that they would be as the town windows are going to be, because they look identical, really? The windows, we had the conversation earlier.
We're
this
not
evening.
putting in any new windows?
No, I said the windows, if you look at the windows here, they're identical on the second floor as the town building.
Are you looking
Talking about
at
down.
my drawing?
Yeah, on the second floor, I was saying on the second floor, that, the first floor, yes, I agree. No,
Dave, which windows did Jack replace when all the glass fell out on the sidewalk? Because what he replaced,
The double hung windows
yeah,
upstairs.
it was up there. It was on the William Street side, right, where they fell
Both
out?
sides, both
Huh?
sides. Both sides,
Those sides?
yeah.
So that's why they don't need new windows, they've already been taken care of.
So
So you're gonna basically keep these windows?
There's no reason not to, they're not been
No,
all
impacted.
the windows themselves, the glass will stay,
Okay, I'm talking, let's just do William Street side.
so am I.
These
This is
two
William Street
views.
side.
Yeah, these two views.
So what did you want to make a change? What was your ask? What are you asking?
My ask is the lower floor window to, instead of having that arch detail above the window and the door, we wanted to make it more look like the Pitt Street side where it does not have that.
I think that's
Just
okay.
the square.
Yeah, this looks like it might have been.
Do you not have,
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
I think he's talking
I
about.
think they're just,
Yeah,
yeah,
the
just
big
get
square
rid of
one.
the top. Just square it off.
Yeah, this one. Somebody had to, you can talk about this one.
So if you square it off, you're gonna put, you're gonna cut some brick away then to do that, or what?
if I might, can I?
Yeah, yeah.
Why do you want it?
So much better.
See how this
Yeah, I see
is
it.
this, where the blue is? I just want to, we're going to
So
fill
how are you
all
gonna
that in.
cover it? You're gonna fill it in?
Yeah, and then just put the trim around it, just to make it look more like the windows on the William Street, on the Pitt Street side that are square.
You see what they're talking about? right?
Yeah.
See, they're square.
You see
That
what?
looks fine.
Cool.
I don't mind that.
Can I get
Yeah,
that?
I don't mind
Can
that.
I get that?
That way the elevations match. If you're standing on the corner, the elevations match. The line, top of the windows match.
Yeah, I don't have one side that's one look and one side that's the, I'm trying to make the building,
Well, you know my concern, the shape, the awnings, and more of a uniform nature. Those are minor details, that can be always changed back.
So now-
Oh, see, are those exhaust fans staying?
Yeah.
There's big exhaust fans on William?
my plan called for them to go, but if we don't have, if we're not awning on that side, they can probably stay.
No, we want them going, because they're
Yeah,
nice.
good, much better.
They've been there since we grew up, John.
Yeah.
John's a little older than you, I think.
So they're historic.
How's this?
Okay, the last point that I'd like to ask about is, just to make sure before I go back to the drawing board with this, that the detail along the bottom that we did to try to sort of complement what's along Main Street on almost all of the storefronts, in your colored rendering, it's red, but it's a wood trim detail under the windows. Is that acceptable? Under the first floor windows where it meets the sidewalk?
Yeah, most of Uptown has that. actually.
Right, and we were trying to bring that to more, make this look like, our goal was to make this look like more like Main Street,
Right.
not less.
Well, that's fine.
And that's why we were doing some of the things we were doing with the awning going around the corner and then with the wood detail along the bottom. And, you know, the red brick was the pieces of red brick were to try to find a compromise. We honestly were trying to find a compromise to give you some red brick, but to not, taking off the stuff that was cost prohibitive.
Well, you know, how we feel about getting it right, so, no, the pieces down, I would have expected them to be there because, and you plan to do that all the way up, it looks like, so yes, that's perfect.
So what color are you making those?
It doesn't matter.
No, I'm just kidding, no, there's a reason why I say that. Is there a color?
We were trying to coordinate with the color that we were going to do on the stucco. So to answer your question without putting a color to it, we were trying to make it cohesive. So the white brick and then the color along the stucco and then have that
So
color
if
come
you
along
take
the
the
bottom.
stucco off to keep the brick, for example, you would make that more like a brick color.
We actually chose a brick color.
That would offset the white really nice.
We chose a color that was as close as I could get to red brick to color the stucco. Again, because we understand that you like red brick, it's just cost prohibitive. We were trying to find a compromise, as Mary suggested, to help this process along. I mean,
Well,
there was
that's not-
thought put into this. I realize that you're extremely unhappy, Ms. Rose, with the
Well, that's not
Proposal.
that's not what he said to you. He said with the stucco off and the brick, the brick color you chose. So we're back to no stucco. I think you need to at least have someone give you a quote on what it would be to take it off.
It's possible.
Talk to Mike Queen at Rains Reef. He's done several buildings. Talk to Mr. Girardi, he's done some, I mean, we just have to, you have to make the effort to see about doing it, that's all.
Quick question, is that a water meter, Dave, to the right of the door on the corner? Or gas meter, electric meter, sticking right out there on the sidewalk?
Which door, ma'am?
When you're looking at it on the Pitt Street side, the 3 doors and the 3 windows
Where I
there?
built the little wood box cover?
Yeah.
That's the electric meter.
Oh, it's electric,
Yeah,
which
electric
is,
meter there.
it could ever be moved or is it like around the corner or does it have to be there? I'm just curious.
I don't believe it can be moved because the power comes in off the pole right there in the front.
Oh, we need to get those wires underground anyway.
Well, they were,
That would be nice.
they were gonna be if the other groups had been able to find this, that was part of it, they were gonna put everything on.
Well, you know, but I was just a thought where you're coming up with this, I was thinking rather than, I know how hard it is to keep something like a planter maintained so it looks attractive, that I wonder how it would be, Dave, it was just like, almost like a shuttered door there and then repeated on the other side of the window so they could get in and look at it, but you're not looking at the
That's what we
mechanical.
did.
Yeah, I know, I was just saying, when you put up something with, it went all the way down more, and it's sort of covered, like, I'm gonna say here, again, shutters, but 2 shuttered looks, so you could open it and the meter
Yeah,
people could
this-
read
this
it, and
would-
then repeat that, although it would be a faux thing. On the second, you'd have the continuity of the windows, the doors, and that, and
Would you
it's
mind
just hard to
if I
maintain
came
something
up
like
here
that.
and-
Yeah.
and you show me where you mean for continuity, because I'm lost.
Okay, but I was saying, looking at this here, oh, we're talking about this next, I mean, you've got this there, but I'm saying if it actually was all the way down and it was like a shutter to cover it up.
That's what it does, and then it opens, like in awnings opens.
Okay,
and
but
then
I'm
you-
saying what I'm afraid of, this kind of thing is,
Oh, I
it
just
doesn't be a
figured-
maintenance problem, I mean,
The tenants,
yeah.
if they can decide if they want plants or not, that would just have to have plants, I didn't have the
Okay,
plants.
so
in
it
the
is a door,
rendering.
so they can get in. and
Yeah,
look at
yeah,
it.
it allows
Okay,
them to
it
open
kind
and
of
read
that. Okay, that's
Okay?
right, right.
And where did you
With the-
want a second one for continuity?
No, when I was looking at that, I said, if you're having that on that side, should there be something on the other side of that door? Just
That
give
would
me
be
a-
right in the window?
1, 2, 3. Wait, was the trash can is sitting here? With just the town trash receptacle there? That's what I was just saying, if that's theirs.
If you're talking about on this side, it'd be right in the window?
No, I was saying, would we, I mean, the door, this door is disappearing.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, okay, so that's where, okay, that was
Okay.
the question, figure that out, all right, yeah. Well, I was looking at what it is today, so that would be just that.
Is there any problem with the signage location? I know that the tenants will have to come back for signage, but I am letting them know that we are or are not getting everything approved. Is there any problem with the signage that we've shown on our renderings?
The thing is this, with the same, I think the way everything went tonight, and I have a feeling with what we like to see, might save you a lot of construction costs, or reconstruction costs, or renovation work costs. So maybe it might be wise, like Carol mentioned, see if you can get a quote of what it would cost to remove the stucco and refurbish the brick. It might work out, still within your budget. It might work, all right? So I think it might be a nice way to look at this, to see if it works, okay?
And where the sign is on the building is fine. That the people that are gonna have the business there, they just need to see Carolyn, and it doesn't cost anything to visit us, but they do have to come and show us exactly, what they're gonna put up there whenever they're ready. If they're ready to do that before they're ready to move in, it doesn't matter, because if we go ahead and approve it, then when they're ready to move in, they can put it up.
Make a motion. Okay. I'm going to make a motion regarding case 10-6-21-24 for a continuance at the next meeting, I guess, based on a revised plan from everything we discussed tonight.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
I would ask if I could possibly get an interim meeting like you suggested, a work session meeting or something. With the drawings as far along as they are with Fisher Architecture, I could potentially get them, because they're just making alterations to what we currently have. Would there be an opportunity to have a meeting specifically for this prior to November? Because we're looking at now November, right, for your next meeting? Your next meeting would be November, early part of
First
November.
Wednesday in November.
November 3rd, it would be.
Dave, we have to post it, how many, we have to,
I gotta have 10 days.
yeah, if we're gonna have another meeting, it has to be posted and advertised and all that. When would that, I don't know if people are going on vacation or what.
Well, I'm gonna be on vacation last 2 weeks, so I'm gonna be on vacation last 2 weeks of this month.
Okay, well, we need you, what,
I should see if Robert could be a liaison to meet with them at a point where they get some more things going. She would like to have a meeting with one of us or two.
yeah, see, if you meet, if he could go with you to Keith's office and work like I did with the other people, it would be easy, at least she'd be that much further
Today or
along.
something like that.
You're not working right now, right?
They got me working 5 days a week and I'm retired.
I thought you told me to stop.
No,
I'm sorry.
They just hired another doctor, all right, but she's married, she has 2 kids, and she's probably only gonna work maybe 1 day a week. And I've been working on Fridays to help cover for them, but pretty soon I think I'm gonna have my Fridays free again. You know, so, but we can get, if you want, we can get, are you available this weekend maybe at one point?
To go over more than what
I
we
guess to
did.
go over anything, I thought you mentioned that you might want to have one of us to sit down and discuss it with you or your designers.
Well, what I anticipated, and perhaps I'm wrong, that you have basically said, this is what you will approve. I took notes, so I'll go back to Fisher and have them draw it up that way
Okay.
and re-present it to you.
That's fine.
But if I present it to you, can I get approval? Or do I need to present it to the whole?
No, everybody has to go together.
No, it has, and like I say, I don't think I'm gonna be able to vote for any stucco, but that's just me, I'm one person on a board of 5, so, Keith knows he knows most of us, he has my phone number, he can certainly call, I've taken notes, I know what everybody seems to want, we want to get it done, we're very anxious to get it done.
I think Robert said it best, is what our job is here as this commission is to try to work with you to make sure that we maintain the historical integrity of that building as best we can. And I think we'll be able to do it. I just have to, there's a few changes from these plans. I just think these just changed like the building too much.
Well, and like I said, it's sat there for decades with nothing done to it, and you can't expect just to have everything you want, just because you decided now it's time to fix it up. So, we will see you, I guess, in the November meeting. What's it?
You think you could do it quicker? You want to let me know? So would you be open to holding a special meeting between now and the November
We
meeting?
can, because Robert's going to be away on vacation and it won't work because we have to post it and advertise it. He will not be here, and most of the things that we are thinking about would make it look better are his ideas. I think it's
Okay,
important.
because of the
that you-
continuance, I understand.
So you'll be back for the November meeting.
Oh, yeah, we'll be
Okay.
back October 30th.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Dave, do you have any updates for us? Any updates?
No, I have nothing new to add.
Okay, so, Mr. Pitts' house, they put the scaffolding up and they put cameras on the front of the house and that's it. And it's
I don't see any point of what they're doing in that house. There's nothing inside that house. That house is a shell.
honey,
And
It
been that
can-
way
it
for
can- it-
years.
Somebody needs to rebuild, put a restaurant in there, put something, a gallery in there,
it
something.
can be restored, it can, and multiple family members and Pitts have tried. But anyhow, I understand from Ivy with the grant, you have to start a certain date from getting the facade grant. And then you have a year to do the work. So by putting the scaffolding up,
It's a start.
it's a start. And
Okay.
so the scaffolding sits for, I think it's 5 weeks now, and just, so there we go. And our hands, that's the way this grant works. So I have no clue. There we go, I'm just saying, so now we have a house with scaffolding sitting all over the front of it when people.
So now we got a shell with scaffolding.
And branches, dead branches over the
2 steps
sidewalk.
back, 1 step forward.
I'm 60 years old, that house hasn't changed from 60 years old.
When Reggie bought that house, Mr. Pitts died, and he came before planning and zoning, and what he wanted to do was like a B&B or something he had going on. And he was so mad, he said, basically, I'm not gonna do a damn thing. And that was the end of it. So
Well,
his grandson now, I guess, has the decision for the family what they're gonna do, right?
Well,
You-
his son, Reggie's son owns the property and has for a while, and I guess the grandson is going to do renovations, which is fine. I just wanted to get going, I can't understand, well, anyhow. So there's that house, the trailer down.
I know it's gone,
is
thank
what-
goodness.
Thank you.
I'm on the side of the house now.
Well, listen,
Well, we spoke to him and he said he would move it and he was working with several bids on painting contract.
yeah, so that's going, so that's taking.
It's nice when I go to work in the morning.
And then one of the other things from the last meeting was the dance studio and the eye doctors, right? So
Yes.
Carolyn sent them a letter, we sent them a letter, and they complied right away. They took care of the cutting of the grass. The sign still needs painting, I know that needs maintenance, the main sign for the building.
Yeah, but they did clean
But they
all
picked everything up, they cleaned everything up
I
right away.
noticed that
so.
too, I did notice that.
Yeah, I did too. Well, that's great. Thank you so much. Thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much. We make a little progress and then we don't. So, let's see, comments from anyone on the board here before we go home?
I'm fine.
I hope
I think
everybody,
we should save any comments till next meeting. This meeting was very long.
I knew it would be. Okay, and I have no comments other than thank everyone for your attention to detail and so forth. And we'll have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right? Thank you.
Right.
So, did you go away now?
I had to, Wilmer, because I had 9 days to drove, but I was able to cry back, and he's mad.
Well, he did, wait, a little circuit, seen all the kids, right?
I said, what do you say, John? It's about one day I'm sure that we should. He loves it. He's just very, very, that's very nice of him to take